Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is your favorite girl Oluwatosin and this is Walk the Talk with Tosin. You are welcome back to my channel, all my amazing subscribers. If this is your first time, please do well to click the subscribe button below. Please do not watch this video without subscribing. Thank you very much. Now for today's video, I'm going to be doing a movie review. Now this movie titled Enoch came out on the 2nd of March. Yes, 2nd of March. So I'm just going to be sharing my thoughts about the movie, what I learned from the movie, and by the way, it's a Christian movie. So without further ado, let's get into the video. I just want to say this before I get into the review. I really love that you watch this video till the end, because honestly, God spoke to me so much. God spoke to me so much about this movie. God can speak to you too, and there's so much that you can learn. So first of all, I would like to state that the movie is based on a true life story. The true life story of our daddy G.O. If you're Nigerian, it's very hard for you not to know Daddy Enoch Adeboye. That is the general overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, RCCG. Now, like I said, the story is based on his life, and I think the movie was acted to honor him for his 81st birthday. In this particular movie, you know, we got to see him as a child, into a teenager, into a man. In fact, they talked about his marital life, how he met his wife, everything. Like, I don't know, it just opened my mind so much to a lot of stuff, because we're able to see another aspect of him. Now, the first thing that was really striking for me, and it just dawned on me while I was watching that movie. Now, I have actually heard people say it before, but then when I was watching the movie, it just made more sense to me. So the first thing is that God can pick anybody, like God can call anybody, irrespective of your background. You guys, Daddy Adeboye was he came from a poor home. I remember a particular scene where his dad bought an umbrella and everybody was rejoicing in the family. I'm like, is it the same umbrella that we are just flinging anyhow? It really showed the level of poverty that he came from. His family, they were so poor. It's so beautiful that God does not look at our background. God does not look at, oh, you're from a rich home. God can just use anybody. So the second thing that was striking for me in this movie, now a lot of people would have not even paid attention to this. When he wanted to marry Mommy Foluke, that's his wife, her dad, when she went and told her dad that, oh, there's a man that wants to marry me, oh, his name is Enoch Adeboye, and her dad was like, why do you love this man? Now, the answer that she gave in this movie is something that I feel that every single young person out there that is hoping to get married should look out for in a spouse, especially as a woman. This is something that you should look out for in a man. And I feel like, I don't know for others, but this is like very major for me. This is something I always look out for in any guy that I come across, friendship, anything. Like, what is that? Humility. She told her dad, she said he's so humble. She said he knows so much, yet he does not know so much. Like the way she explained him. And that's one particular thing that I know that a lot of people usually point out today about Daddy Enoch Adeboye, that he's so humble. The man is humble. He's so simple. She kept saying it. And it is very important that anybody that you want to spend the rest of your life with, the person is actually a humble person. Guys, I can't stand pride. I can't even hide it. Like, once I smell pride in somebody, I've left you. Like, just be on your own. It's something that we should also strive for. You know, to be humble. It does not pay to have pride. What do you have in this life that somebody did not have? Excuse you. Anyways, so yeah, that's like one other striking thing for me. Another striking thing about this movie, Like, there's something I always tell people when people meet me and they're like, oh, why do you love God so much? Why are you so bold about your faith and all of that? And I always tell them that I am not just following God because, oh, I grew up in a Christian background or my parents are pastors or anything like that. No. I have actually seen God. Like, I have seen God move mountains for me. I don't know how to put it. Like, you know when you say, it's reminding me of that message was sung in different ways. I have tasted of your power. Like, you have tasted of God's power. You have seen God's power. You've had encounters with Jesus. Now, in this movie, you could actually see that after he got married and had about 2 children, he started facing certain challenges. His daughter was always sick. They are taking her to the hospital. There was nothing they did not do, and she was still sick. There was always trouble. I remember him saying something like, oh, that he has a good job, he has a car, he has a house, everything, that, but there's no peace in his home. You know, when you're going through challenges, that you're losing your peace of mind. And guess what? He went to about 2 herbalists. You know, sometimes when you see all these men of God, you just feel like, oh, they just jump and got here. Oh, they've never had challenges. Everything was working for them. My dear, my dear, they have gone through even worse than you can even think or imagine. People have tasted this God. See, there's actually nothing anybody can tell me right now that will make me doubt the existence of God, because I have seen God move mountains in my life, in my family. I've seen God do amazing things for me. That is why it's very important that you actually pray and seek God to actually have that genuine encounter with Jesus, to have that experience. Because I tell you, you cannot be relying on other people's experiences. You cannot rely on what people have told you. You will get to a stage in your life that things will face you, and it's either you know God or you don't know God. So before you look at any man of God today or anybody that is burning for Christ today, and maybe you want to backbite them or you want to say something funny, go and read their story. This is someone that had tested charms before, and it did not work for him, and he came to God, and all his trials, all his challenges eventually left. So tell me why he would choose all those things over God. It can never happen, because when no one was there for him, God was there. Another lesson from this movie, something that I learned, and Daddy Akindayo, that's the founder of Redeem, told Daddy Adeboye, he said, God is not looking for people who are qualified. God looks for people that he can qualify. Now, that particular sentence made so much sense to me, because I have been in that state where I felt that I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. You guys, when God spoke to Daddy Akindayo to hand over the church to Pastor Enoch Adeboye, when he told him the first time, he was crying. In fact, he went on a fast with his wife to pray that God should not call him to be a pastor, that he's not worth it, he can't do it, he can't do this and all that. But Daddy Akindayo kept telling him that, see, God is not looking for you to be perfect. I remember the first time when God called me to be a fellowship president. You guys, I did not have experience from anywhere. I kept running away. I said, it's not me. It's not me. Who? Me? You don't know me. I was even telling God, you don't know me. And I remember one day I was going to school and I heard the Holy Spirit speak to me clearly. He said, I'm not looking for people who are perfect. I'm looking for people who will make themselves available. See, I don't know if you're listening to me and God has called you to do anything. You have to understand that God is not looking for you to be perfect and, you know, you have everything figured out and you just know everything. That's why I laugh when sometimes people try to castigate pastors or castigate people that, you know, leaders out there or Christian influencers and all of that. People try to insult them or say, oh, why will you do this? Why will you do that? You guys, they're not perfect people. They are like you and I. Everybody is growing. I don't know if you understand me. So God is not looking for you to have everything figured out. If you have everything figured out, then you don't need God. Anything God has called you to do, just do it. People might feel like, oh, you're not qualified for this job. I even remember that there's this particular scene where after Daddy Akindayo died, and he had announced, he had written it down that, oh, he's handing over the church to Daddy Adeboye, that this is what God said, that he's the general overseer and everything. The elders of the church got angry.
Impossible.
They were just like, how will they choose him to be the general overseer? In fact, they got angry and they left the church. It just dawned on me, see, if God has said go, go. It does not matter what anybody thinks, like, or what they say. Some people might look at you like, oh, you're not qualified. I remember when I became fellowship president, I heard all sorts of things. Like, I heard all sorts of things from people. Oh, she's this one, this one, that one. But if God has called me, I'm sorry, but your opinion does not count. Like, what I am focusing on is God, and God is the standard. So far God has called you to do something, do it with your full chest, irrespective of what anybody thinks or anybody says. He's going to empower you, he's going to help you, he's going to strengthen you, he's going to build your capacity. All you have to do is just say yes and go. Like, I'm just trying to think of the Adeboye I saw in the movie that was crying that, hey, he cannot do this, he's not worthy and all that. And look at the number of redeemed churches we have all over this world. He's the same person. Another striking thing from this movie, you guys, hey, Jesus, it was, in fact, when I got to this part, I just started crying. I cried so much today because sometimes you see people, you don't know how much they've had to give up for God. You guys, Daddy Gio gave up so much. He wanted to be the youngest vice chancellor in Africa. Already he was doing his PhD. And by the way, God later increased him financially. So when he got married and had children, he was not poor. Like, in fact, if you watch the movie, amongst everybody there in the church, you would always see that him and his wife, they were the ones that like really dressed, that you say, okay, these ones, they have money. He had a car, so he was not poor. For the people out there that, oh, pastors go into ministry because they want to eat your tithe or they want to eat your offering. How much is your offering? How much do you used to put in offering? Anyways, back to what I'm saying, right? This man went from living a comfortable life with his wife and his child to moving to one village. I think it was a one-room apartment because of the church, because okay, he was now the general overseer, he needed to be close to the church and everything. He went through a lot. He gave up on his dreams. It takes a lot to do that. It takes someone that genuinely loves God. Yes, and this reminds me of a particular scene in that movie. I remember before Daddy Akindayo died, he announced that, oh, the church needed money, they needed to build a bigger church, that everyone should empty their accounts and bring the money the following Sunday. You guys, Daddy Adeboye and his wife emptied their account. In fact, they even in the scene, the banker was saying everything. He said everything. He and his wife, in that pain, they emptied their account. Came to church the following Sunday, and the pastor asked, oh, who followed the instruction I gave last Sunday? You guys, in the entire church, it was only Daddy Adeboye and his wife. It was only Daddy Adeboye and his wife that stood up, that obeyed that instruction. The elders of the church, the leaders, the other pastors, none of them obeyed the instruction. Now you look at that man today and you tell me why God will stop blessing him. And it reminds me of the scripture that says, eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither has he entered into the hearts of man what God will do for those that love him. See, if you serve God diligently, if you serve God from the depth of your heart, if you love God and you give up all the nonsense, all your dreams and desires to follow God and his will, see, there is absolutely nothing that God cannot do for you. In fact, when God is ready for you, you'll be the one saying, God is okay. Because it will be coming back to back. You see the pain you're going through right now, and it looks like, oh, you're the only one carrying Jesus on your head. You're the only one going to church. You're the only one serving faithfully. When God is ready to bless you, people will say that you're doing ritual. People will say you're eating church money. People will say, you're using jazz. If you serve God faithfully, God will definitely see. God does not go back on his word. If God says he will bless you. I remember that particular day when he and his wife stood up that day. The pastor began to pray for them. I was actually listening to the prayer points that were made over them then and what is happening in their life right now. And every single thing, every single prayer point that was made came to pass in their life. I'm urging every one of us today. That movie challenged me. It challenged me so much to love God, Sometimes you do things for God and it's not convenient, or it looks like, oh, you're the only one, you're stressed out, you're tired. See, just keep following God. Just keep following God. Today, you look at these people and God is blessing them. It's like, oh, they are using cheats, or they are using jabs, or they are doing something to their members. No, they have paid their dues over time. They have served God over time. So now that God is blessing them, you and I have no right to say, oh, God, they are eating church money, they are doing this, they are doing that, because you were not there when they were suffering. You don't know the things they had to give up for God. And that is how it is. It is not just with pastors. For every single person, as I'm here today, you don't know the things that I've had to let go. My personal desires, pleasures of this world, and a lot of other things, like just so that I can serve God and focus on Christ. If God is blessing me, anybody that come and say, you people should watch this video, when God start, in fact, God has already been blessing me, but when I start growing, when I start having my body, anybody that come and say, Tosin did this or Tosin did, I will bring out all my throwback pictures so that you know where I came from. Now, another thing that I learned from this movie is that God is faithful. I know that we say this every time, oh God, you're faithful, even when we are praying, God, you're faithful. But you guys, God is actually faithful. We are not just, these things have become routines to us, because when we are praying, we say, oh, you are a faithful God, we sing songs, faithful God, everything. God is actually faithful. And I feel the need to really buttress this particular point, because in Nigeria, we are in a season whereby people are feeling discouraged. Oh, God, is this the plan you have for Nigeria? And all that, blah, 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 blah. See, God never goes back on his word. The question that we should be asking ourselves is that, what has God said over this country? And also ask yourself about your own life. What has God said over your life? If God has said this, to see, that's why I don't joke with journals. I used to write. When God says this thing over my life, I will write the date. I will write it. Recently, I was looking at my journal that I had since 2020. Certain things that God told me about my life during my retreats, everything. And today, it is playing out. I'm just like, God, indeed, you are faithful. See, I cried in this movie because there was a particular scene, yes, this particular scene whereby the prophecies that Daddy Akindayo made, I remember him saying that, oh, the Redeemed Christian Church of God is going to go places, that he's seen a crowd of people like an ocean. You guys, and they began to show, like present day Daddy Gio, they began to show the Redeemed Christian Church of God, and I was like, yes, God is faithful. God never goes back on his word. If God has said something, it will definitely come to pass. It will come to pass. If God has said this concerning your life, it will come to pass. I don't care how long. It doesn't matter if, oh, it looks like, God, what is happening? Time is going. Oh, I want to start dominating. I want to start doing this one. I want to start doing this one. See, so far as God has said it, hold God by his word. Keep doing your thing. The day that God is ready to showcase you to the world, people will be shocked. They will know that, oh, there has been a time where you were in the cave of Adullam, where you were in the secret place. Keep doing what God has called you to do. Do not be discouraged. Over Nigeria, do not be discouraged. Don't feel like, oh, all hope is lost. I've been seeing all kinds of posts. No, we cannot give up on God, because if God has said, in fact, God is bigger than any of us. God is not a man that he should lie. He's only man that will say something and man will disappoint you. But if it is God, God cannot disappoint you. God cannot disappoint you. Look at the Redeemed Christian Church of God today. Who would have thought a young boy that did not even have shoes to go to school, a young boy that came from poverty, is the same person that is celebrated all over the world, is the same person that God is using. Oh my God, I feel this all over my body. See, do not give up on God. Even if this is the only thing that you hear today, if God has said something, he will do it. All the prophecies that were made how many years ago, everything is coming to pass. Guys, this is my favorite thing from this movie. These prayers, like, I could feel it where I was. I was just like, God, hey, God, this movie was a lot for me. I cried so much. I cried because it really did something to my heart. It pushed me to serve God more. It encouraged me, like, I was like, God, help me to love you more. We have not even started doing anything for God. We've not started. So right now, I have come to the end of this video. I have shared all the lessons I learned from this movie. If you have not watched this movie, please do well to watch it. A big thumbs up to Mount Zion movies. Like, Mount Zion movies have really tried. Like, they have done a lot. They produced this movie, I think, with I can't remember the other name. I'll attach it on the screen, but they have really helped the movie industry for the body of Christ, and may God continually bless them. Please do well to click the subscribe button if you have not subscribed, and give this video a big thumbs up. Share this video, and if you've also watched the movie, let me know in the comment section one thing that you really learned from the movie. Thank you guys for watching this video. Bye.